Hey everyone. Welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars, where we pull back the curtain on the moments everyone is whispering about. Settle in, because every twist of this story is coming your way. And before we dive deep, remember to subscribe and share so you never miss a beat when the spotlight shifts. Today's talk of the town centers on a claim that sent shockwaves through the entertainment world. The name on every tongue is Alina, and standing in the eye of the storm with her is Navruz. Their past has long fueled speculation, but what erupted this week took that chatter to another level. Actress Barl, known to be close with Alina, attended a glittering event and, when pressed about Alina's love life, delivered a sentence that made every headline catch fire. In her words, the story people thought had ended might never have ended at all, just gone quiet, tucked away from the relentless flash of cameras. From there, everything snowballed. According to whispers attributed to Beril's private conversations, the pair has been meticulous in keeping things low-key. The claim goes something like this: if you're expecting hand-in-hand photo ops, you won't get them. They're choosing not to serve their affection to the cameras anymore. Those alleged comments ricocheted across tabloids and fan pages, making it sound as though Alina and Alp decided to protect whatever is unfolding quietly between them. The idea that they didn't truly cut ties, but simply retreated from public view, was enough to set social media ablaze. As the story raced across timelines, the reaction split in two. One group rallied to defend Alina, insisting she is a grown woman allowed to shape her own happiness without outside noise. Another group rolled their eyes, convinced the industry thrives on perception, and that the secrecy is just another chapter in a carefully choreographed drama. The debate simmered, then boiled, filling comment sections with theories and questions. Are they back together? Did they ever separate in the way we thought? Or was it all about finding peace away from the frenzy? At the center of it, Alina chose silence. Her posts remained focused on work, snippets from sets, a glimpse into fittings, a quiet coffee on a long day, nothing that pointed even slightly toward romance. She has a new project on the way and, if insiders are to be believed, she's determined not to let private chatter overshadow professional strides. People close to her hint that Alina isn't losing sleep over rumors. She simply doesn't want them to swell into something that derails the reason she became famous in the first place. She has reportedly repeated to friends that she wants attention to follow her craft, not her personal choices. Yet the silence didn't still the waters. Beril's remarks, first overheard at that event, then retold and reshaped by countless mouths, added a layer of intrigue that refused to fade. The notion that Alina and Alp's story never truly paused, just moved behind a curtain, echoed through the city's glossy venues and late-night phone calls. After all, reconciliation whispers had already been circulating for months. The most persistent version recounted them slipping into the same gatherings only to leave through separate exits, always a step ahead of the lens. Attentive observers claimed that last month they ended up at the same intimate birthday celebration, animated in conversation, careful about proximity, impossible to nail down in a single photograph. Then, when the buzz started easing, Beril resurfaced in front of the press again. She attended another high-profile evening, where the red carpet stretched under bright lights and the microphones angled toward familiar faces. When a journalist tossed that familiar question, "What's happening in Alina's heart right now?" Beril kept her words measured but meaningful. She said she wouldn't pry into what isn't hers to share, and yet she hinted at something that kept the room hanging on her every syllable. Her implication was bold enough to reignite everything. Whatever people assumed had closed might in fact be ongoing, just not on display. The reaction came fast and loud. Timelines surged with opinions, speculations, and arguments about loyalty. Some accused Beril of overstepping, claiming a true friend would lock certain truths away forever. Others applauded her for defending Alina's right to live without scrutiny, reading her tone as protective rather than invasive. The truth is, the larger-than-life fascination with this couple has always been about more than romance. It's the way they command the screen separately yet seem tethered by an undeniable chemistry whenever their paths cross. And that sense of connection made it hard for the public to let go of the idea that their story had chapters left to read. The tabloids had a field day. Headlines shouted about a secret continuation, about decision-making shaped by the bruises of past exposure. Words from people said to be in Beril's circle suggested Alina is moving differently now, older, wiser, less eager to serve intimate moments to anyone but the person involved. According to those accounts, she's learned the cost of living under an open umbrella during a storm. Choosing a sheltered corner doesn't mean hiding out of shame, it might mean protecting something tender until it's strong enough to stand in the rain. Meanwhile, Alina's post stayed strictly professional, a curated stream with no soft breadcrumbs to follow. And that, of course, only fueled the guessing game. Fans who cheer her independence argued that no one owes the public an explanation, especially not someone who's built a reputation on talent rather than turbulence. Still, skeptics pushed the other angle. If there's nothing to conceal, why not let the world see two people enjoying a second chance? Because when love returns, isn't joy hard to hide? Context matters here. Alina and Alp's past relationship was once a staple of entertainment pages, captured in fleeting snapshots, translated into narratives the couple never fully endorsed. When they confirmed their separation, it was framed as amicable, respectful. And yet, not long after, sharp-eyed onlookers kept noting the synchronicities, the same cafes, the same rooftops, the same brand launch where they just happened to be on opposite sides of the room. They avoided anything that could be spun into a definitive image, but the whispers stubbornly multiplied. Beril's fresh remarks didn't create a rumor so much as pour new fuel on one that had been smoldering. Then came the night that snapped everything back into focus. A glittering reception, cameras stacked 3 deep, stylists hovering at the edges of the carpet like architects of illusion. Barl was there, unmistakable. A reporter asked a simple, charged question about Alina's current romantic chapter. Beril's response was brief, careful, and entirely disruptive to the peace the couple may have been trying to preserve. She didn't name names. She didn't map out timelines. But she did make it sound like the book had never closed, that it had merely slipped into a private reading room. From that moment, every possible version of the truth ping-ponged through the feeds. Some posted that Barl had finally said what everyone suspected but no one could prove. Others scolded her, saying the best defense is silence, and that even a well-intentioned hint can feel like a breach. The center of gravity in the story, however, remained steady: Alina and Alp, the possibility of a reunion, and the question of whether love might thrive when it stops asking permission from the audience. Privately, the story got even more textured. There were murmurings of a small, friends-only gathering in a quiet home last month where Alina and Alp were seen talking for long stretches, faces open, shoulders lowered, the kind of body language that suggests comfort rather than strain. No photographers were present, phones were tucked away. According to someone described as a close friend, they're still bound by easy affection and inside jokes, and this time they'd rather not feed an engine that once ran so hot it steamed up the glass. If you zoom out, it all makes sense. Fame loves a label. But being watched can warp the simplest moments, turning a casual glance into an intent, a shared ride into a promise. If Alina and Alp have decided to keep their steps light and away from the center of the stage, that might not be a denial so much as a choice created by lessons learned the hard way. The quiet might be their way of moving towards something more lasting, something built on trust and soft mornings and doorways no one else needs to know about. Still, the world asks. Curious minds prod the edges. Fans write paragraphs defending or doubting, while those who were present at events offer conflicting recollections. They stood close. No, they didn't. They left together. No, they left minutes apart. They made eye contact that lingered. They never looked in the same direction. The truth, in a story like this, often lives between angles. Even the most honest witness stands in only one place. And through it all, Alina carries herself as she always does, focused on the work, sharp in interviews when the topic is her craft, artfully evasive when it turns to matters of the heart. The new series is coming, and she seems determined not to let anything steal its light. Alp, for his part, keeps busy on his own path, working quietly, sharing only what is necessary, letting the conjecture pass through him like wind through an open window. If they are writing a second chapter, it may be for them first, for us only when and if they say so. There's also the matter of friendship. Beril's role in this saga has turned her into a lightning rod. Did she cross a line or simply try to shield Alina with a truth softened by discretion? Those who know her insist her intent wasn't to stir chaos but to redirect the story away from harsh assumptions. Her tone, they say, came from care. But in this orbit, even care can look like a headline. So where does that leave us? With a question that might not be answered in the way anyone expects. Love doesn't always announce itself with fireworks. Sometimes it returns as a quiet echo, a familiar step in a familiar hallway. And when two people as beloved as Alina and Navruz land there, the rest of us can watch from the edge without demanding a front row seat. If they are choosing tenderness over theater, if they are guarding peace rather than feeding curiosity, that might be the real story. Maybe the relationship never ended in the way we imagined, maybe it transformed, then circled back, wiser and softer. For now, the only certainty is the uncertainty. The clues stack up, the denials never quite come, and the narrative continues to breathe on its own. Perhaps that's fitting for a pair who've always sparked interest simply by being themselves. As the cameras look for proof and the whispers weave new threads, there is a kind of grace in letting them define their own outline. If and when they step into the light together, it will be because they chose to, not because surveillance finally caught up to them. That's all for today's deep dive from Secrets Behind the Stars. If you want to keep following every heartbeat of this unfolding tale, make sure you're subscribed, share this video with a friend who loves a good mystery, and stay tuned. When the next piece clicks into place, you'll hear it here first. Until then, take care, and we'll see you in the next one.